everybody, it's Caitlin again, and we are going to work on grooming Bodhi. So you guys are going to get to learn how to curry a pony, brush a pony, and pick out their feet. So what you can see right now is Bodhi is pretty dirty. He hasn't been groomed today, and horses tend to roll in the dirt to keep flies off of them. So you can see that he's got some built up sweat because it's hot, and he's got some built up dirt as well because he needs to keep all of those nasty flies off of him. So we're gonna go ahead and get all of that dirt off of him, and we're gonna get him all nice and clean. So our first step is to curry him. Most of your curry combs are gonna look like this one. It's round and it's got hard edges so that we can lift all of the dirt that's caked on him off of him. What you do is you stick your hand in here and you use it in circular motions to get all of that dirt lifted off of him. This is another type. I don't particularly like this type because it's hard for me to grip it. So you're supposed to hold the edges of it like this, but it's got these nice long teeth on it to make it feel like a good massage on them. This one is used for our kids with our smaller hands. My hand won't fit in this one, but your hand goes directly in and your fingers kind of go in between there. And you've got a little heel on it to keep your hand in it. This one's called a flower curry comb. It's the same sort of thing as all of the rest of them. You hold it with your hand like this and you go in circles. This one's more of a glove. You actually stick your hand inside of it. You put your thumb on the outside and it's got these big spikes and the smaller spikes. Now those spikes don't hurt them. They feel like a massage, and that's the whole point of the curry comb, is to get all of the dirt and the muscles worked really hard. So now as you're currying them, you want to push pretty hard on them to get all of the dirt and everything lifted up and off of them. And most of the time, they really like this. It feels like a massage. It scratches them. They get all the itchies off of them. So we're gonna go everywhere on his body with this, and you can already see it's kind of making him shiny, and we're getting all of that nasty dirt up off of him. And you can see, even though it's summer and they should be done with their shedding season, some hair is coming off of him too, because horses tend to shed all year round. So with this curry comb, we're going to go everywhere on his body, all down underneath of his belly. The one spot that we don't want to hit is right there where his stifle is. So right in this area is kind of a spot that we try not to hit with a curry comb or a brush because it's super ticklish. Everywhere else on his body, he's okay with. We try not to brush really hard on their legs because it can hurt them, but his whole body gets brushed with this curry comb. So our next step is to brush our pony. This is a harder brush, so it's got harder bristles. This is more to get mud that's caked on them off. This is a softer brush, and it's round. This one's also soft. This is more to get the dust and dirt off of them. So this brush can go everywhere on them. You want to make sure that you go with their hair rather than against their hair. So you can see that Bodhi really likes having his face brushed with this brush. He's not a huge fan of having it curried, but this brush he's happy with. And they'll close their eyes when you brush over their eye. So you can see he actually physically closes his eye to make sure that he doesn't get poked in the eye. So with this brush, you're gonna brush all over their body and make sure that you go with their hair. And you can see all of that dust and dirt and dander coming off of him. So we'll get all of that extra hair off of him. We're gonna go underneath of his belly here. And again, we're gonna skip that little ticklish spot. Make sure we don't hit it. Now Bodhi won't kick me because he knows what I'm doing, but we wanna just make sure that we keep everybody safe. And you can see but that curry comb lifted a bunch of dirt up off of him. We're just gonna get all of it off of him like this. And again, you can push pretty hard with this brush. It feels pretty good to them. We're gonna run all the way down his legs. We're gonna make sure he doesn't kick us, so that because of the flies that are sitting on him, you can hear him stomping his feet. So our next step is our hoof pick. You can see it has a sharp side and then a brush side. So we're actually going to use the sharp side to pick out his feet, get all of the rocks and mud and anything else that's caked in his feet out. So in order to pick up his foot, I'm going to put my hand on the back of his leg, and I'm going to run my hand all the way down his leg, and he's going to pick up his foot. My feet are directly next to his leg, and he's not going to put his foot back down on me because I have control of his foot. My hand goes on his hoof wall to make sure that I have stability of his hoof so that he can't take it back away from me. Now Bodhi's not going to do that, but some ponies actually like to try to slam their foot back down while we're holding it up. We're going to be nice and strong. We're going to hold it up nice and high to make sure that he can't do that to us. So now when we pick out their feet, he has shoes on. Not all of our ponies have shoes on. We're going to push down into his hoof to get all of the dirt out. Sorry, he's dancing because of the flies. We're going to get all of the dirt out from what's called his frog. So you guys see this V right here where I'm picking? You want to get all of that dirt and grime out. And all of this dirt and grime out from all around his hoof. And then we're going to brush it all out. And you should have a nice picture of a hoof there. Now if we have time, we can brush his mane. If we don't, we're in a hurry to get into our lesson. Brushing a mane is not a big deal. We do not brush tails unless we're going on a trip or we're going to a horse show or anything like that. And we put tons of conditioner in it so that we don't break their tails. When I brush a mane, I typically use either this brush, which is kind of like a human brush, or I use this comb. I don't typically use this comb just because we don't have any really big thick manes here. So it's either this comb or this brush. Now when you're brushing a mane, they can't really feel it. They can feel some pressure, but they don't feel the big tug on their mane because they don't really have any nerve endings in their mane. So now you can see he's kind of got a wild mane today just because he's been shaking because of the flies and everything else. And he has a little bit of gray in his mane. He's always had that since I've known him, and I've known him since he was 4. And it's not really a big deal. It's just kind of his coloring. Some horses get it for a couple different reasons, but his is just his coloring. So our last step before we actually put tack on them or anything is to go ahead and fly spray them. Now some ponies don't particularly like fly spray. Bodhi doesn't really mind it, but I usually start with their feet just to give them a little bit of warning that that's coming. And you can see that his skin actually shakes. It shakes independently of his muscles in order to get flies off of them. Now we're pretty generous with our fly spray. We spray everywhere on their body, make it pretty wet, because as you guys don't like flies on you, they don't like flies on them. We're gonna try not hit his face. He doesn't particularly like it on his face. We're gonna get everywhere else though. Some of our ponies really don't like fly spray because of that noise that you guys can hear. And then it hits their skin and they're like, that's weird. I don't really like that feeling. But Bodhi's kind of one of those guys that's been there, done that, had all of that done to him before. So now I have curried Bodhi, I have brushed Bodhi, I've picked all 4 of his feet to make them nice and clean. You can see the dirt on the floor. I'll sweep that up in a second after he's done. And our next step is to go ahead and tack him up. We won't do that today on this video, but we'll do it on a following video. And it may not be Bodhi, it may be a different pony. But he is actually done for the day and he's gonna go back out in his field all nice and clean and fly sprayed so that the flies don't bug him as much. All right, I hope you guys are having a great summer and that you guys join us for our next few weeks of Camp in a Box, and we'll see you guys soon.